What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, yes, an actual edition of Tuesdays with Turbo, where it's actually Tuesday. And believe it or not, I'm still Turbo. But yes, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost Christmas, believe it or not. So hopefully, guys in particular, hopefully we got our Christmas shopping done because we've got a handful of days. It's the 17th. So getting down there. So hopefully you have taken the opportunity to get out and about or get on Amazon or however you do your Christmas shopping for your loved ones. But yes, like I said, the year is dwindling down, and in today's video we're going to be we're going to go OG here. We're going to be going a little bit on the educational side. And for those of you that do not know me, my name is Ryan Turbo Jackson. I am your your insurance resource. And this is where kind of the bread and butter of these videos come from, is educating folks when it comes to your insurance policies, the language involved in it, the terms, the endorsements, the coverages, all of that. So let's be honest, insurance is its own language. So let me help you. And this is one of those videos. Like the title says, we're going to be talking about deductibles. I shouldn't say every, but the vast majority of insurance policies do have deductibles. So what are they, and what's the best way to figure out how to set your deductibles? And whether we're talking auto deductibles, where there's a bunch of different options, home deductibles, renters, landlord policies, you name it, there's a deductible on almost everything except for life insurance. But we'll kind of break them all down, and we'll kind of weave through this. And if you, I do see a handful of people watching live, so I do want to say thank you. And whether you're watching live or the replay, if you guys and gals have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And if I don't have one, I'll make sure we get one. But I thought we'd kind of start off with what the dictionary definition of a deductible is. And the dictionary says the dictionary definition of a deductible in insurance is the amount of money the insured must pay out of pocket before an insurance company will cover the remaining costs of the claim. So it's kind of pretty much cut and dry. Your deductible is how much you pay for a claim as compared to the insurance company paying the remainder. So let's kind of break this, since we have kind of a dictionary definition. Let's start off by talking about auto insurance deductibles. And for those of my friends that reside in Indiana, there isn't as much there aren't as many options when it comes to deductibles. Now, in all states, we have a comprehensive deductible, or some companies refer to it as other than collision. Now, this one's cut and dry. I mean, you can have all the way down to a $0 deductible, where you would pay nothing out of pocket and the insurance company would pay for the entire claim. Or it can go up and up and up and up. Now, keep in mind, when we're talking about the auto insurance, some lenders do have a cap where they don't want you to have more than $1,000 deductible on either comprehensive or collision. So when it kind of goes into making the decision for that, you're kind of limited. But most companies have a vast majority of a whole array of deductibles from zero, or sometimes called ACV, actual cash value. From zero to that $1,000 mark. So there are options. But let's talk about the collision deductible. Now, I'll start off with the Michigan, and we'll kind of interject the Indiana version kind of midstream here. But collision, well, let's take a step back and talk about what exactly your comprehensive deductible would be. Well, we've talked at great lengths about what comprehensive coverage is. It's vandalism, theft, water damage, if a tree falls on your vehicle, if you hit a deer. So you can kind of see where some companies refer to it as other than collision, because it's more broad of a coverage. Whereas with collision, you pretty much hit something or someone hit you. Now, in Michigan, we have 3 different choices when it comes to collision coverage. We have limited collision, standard, and broad collision. Now, limited gets its name because you have to check certain boxes before there's any type of coverage, let alone collision coverage. So if someone's trying to sell you limited collision, hard pass. So we really won't even really get into that one because, like I said, I don't sell it. It's kind of a garbage coverage. And like I said, there has to be, criteria met before there actually is coverage. So in my opinion, it's just not worth it. So let's kind of focus our little spiel here on standard and broad. Now, standard collision is what Indiana has, and Illinois, and Ohio, and all the surrounding areas. There's a stop sign right outside my office, so let's use that as an example. You're driving up, driving north on M40 coming into town. You stop at the stop sign, and someone rear ends you. Now, if my office was in Indiana, you pay your deductible, you get your car fixed, no harm, no foul. And with same thing here in Michigan. If you have standard collision, you're sitting at the stop sign right outside my office, and someone rear ends you, you pay your deductible, you get your car fixed. And where the difference between standard and broad is, it brings into who's at fault. So you're sitting at that same stop sign, someone rear ends you, and you're like, well, Ryan, I wasn't doing anything. It wasn't my fault. Why should I have to pay a deductible? Well, that's where broad form comes in. Because broad form, you're sitting at that stop sign, the same person rear ends you. If you do have broad form collision, you don't pay a deductible. And I know we've kind of gone over these distinctions in the past, but when it comes to choosing your deductible level, having broad form kind of gives you a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more leeway, and a little bit more options. You might be saying, well, Ryan, what are you talking about? Well, let's say you carry you normally carry a $500 deductible, but if you have been in an accident in your life, it wasn't your fault. You're a very cautious driver. You pay attention. You do all the things you're supposed to do. What's to say that we couldn't, that kind of opens the avenue to increase your deductible to $1,000, but put broad form on. You might be saying, well, why? Well, like I said, your record tells me that you've never been the cause of an accident. So the only reason you would pay that $1,000 deductible is if you were the cause of the accident, or you were deemed at fault in the accident. Because if you're not, your deductible is $0. And moving that $500 deductible up to $1,000 is going to save you on your monthly or semi-annual or annual premium. Now, like I said, that's just another option, another avenue that you might want to talk to your agent about. Now, when it comes to home or renters or even landlord policies, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, there's only one option. There isn't a comprehensive and a collision deductible on your home, or on your, if you do have a renter's policy, on your things. But it's, when we focus on these, it's pretty much how much can you afford to pay out of pocket. And this is going to go for the auto as well. I had a trainer very early on in my insurance career say insurance is about 2 things: how much you pay, your premium, and how much you pay when something happens. And it's my job to help kind of balance those out to make sure that you can afford both of these instances. Try my best to make sure you can afford your premiums, and make sure that we're not putting you with a deductible that's so far out there that you couldn't pay the deductible to have something fixed or replaced, or when it comes claim time. And it really is a balancing act. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is we're seeing Well, first of all, the days of a home policy having a, I mean, I've even seen a couple on the books here that were $100 deductibles through auto owners, which is insane. And then so I haven't seen a deductible that low until I got here to Abbott and Powers. At my other jobs, I mean, it was not common but not uncommon to see $250 deductibles. Um, and now we're seeing even auto owners, Pioneer, a lot of the other companies that we work with on new business having a $1,000 deductible to start when it comes to a home policy. And you might be saying, well, Ryan, why? Well, the answer is that with the market that we're in today, yes, the insurance company is trying to reduce the number of claims. I mean, let's be honest. The reason your insurance is going up is because the insurance company, even though you can argue with me till you're blue in the face, the insurance companies are not making money. I mean, they are, but not to their past standards. Let's put it that way. And I have a whole nother video coming out, and I'm going to further explain how an insurance company makes money. So kind of save that conversation for another video. But what they're seeing is when you do have, especially on your home policies, your deductibles are this low, people are trying to use it as a repair policy and not an insurance policy. And you might be saying, well, what do you mean by that? Well, if you do have a $100 deductible, a $250 deductible, when something happens and it's $700 to repair or replace something, you're going to make that claim. And what your agent should be kind of, I'm not saying advise against, but at least let you know, is that when you make claims that are that small, you're losing your claims free discount. And that could very well mean in the end your premium is going to be more expensive than what that claim would have been if you would have paid out of pocket. And you might be saying, well, Ryan, why the heck do I pay for insurance when I can't use it? Well, insurance was never really purposed to be a repair policy. Insurance was there for all the major stuff: your fires, your wind damage, your weather damage, your water damage on the inside. The tornado rips your roof off, a tree falls on it. Those are more catastrophic or more life-changing or just bigger events as compared to like a $300 shed from Menards collapsing. Okay, so when way back when deductibles were commonplace at 100 and 250, yes, things weren't nearly as expensive to repair or replace. I get that, but the main thing I really want to hammer home is when it comes to your deductibles, how much can you afford if something happens? And I would always suggest, even if you need to open a separate savings account and put like, okay, my home insurance, my deductible is $1,000. Set $1,000 aside in that account. Whether that means taking $10 or $25 a paycheck and moving it over here. Most of the time now we're hardly any of us are getting actually paid by check. It's all direct deposit. It's very easy. Go into your HR, be like, hey, I would like so much allocated and sent to this savings account every pay period. That way, when something does happen, you're covered. And if you want to take that even to the next step and be like, okay, well, my house insurance has $1,000 deductible, my auto insurance has a $500 deductible, let's make sure there's $1,500 at all times in this savings account. Just so like I said, when something happens or if something happens, it's not a huge life-changing trying to come up with $1,000 to make so that your roof can get replaced. I know that seems kind of silly, it seems kind of odd, but it's kind of the state that we're in. Especially most people are living paycheck to paycheck, and when the weather is unpredictable, vandalism and theft is unpredictable. And especially around this time of year where we're all a little bit more strapped for cash because of the holidays, it just kind of makes sense to start thinking about this stuff now. Now, please don't take anything that I said as financial advice. It's just advice from one person to another to help make sure that when something does happen, it's not life changing. It's not going to set you back a couple months to be able to catch up from having to pull money out of here, the whole rob Peter to pay Paul type of situation. So to kind of wrap this up, let's kind of recap. And this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to have these conversations with your agent, because let's be honest, this is one of our slower times of the year. So give them a call, shoot them an email, talk about your deductible options. And the one that really kind of throws people for a loop is the comprehensive coverage on your vehicles. We talked about, hitting deer, tree falling on it, that type of thing, but glass coverage is also a huge part of that. Now, some companies will let you put an endorsement on where it'll wipe the deductible off, it'll take it to zero if you do have a glass claim. And it's usually, and I say usually less expensive to add that rider or that endorsement than to bring your deductible, say, down from 500 to 100. And then still at that point, you would have to pay $100 out of pocket to get your windshield replaced. And I don't know if we just had a claim go through a couple weeks ago, and all the the sensors and everything on the newer vehicles with the windshields, you're looking about $1,000 to replace a windshield. $1,000. So if you have a $500 deductible on your comprehensive coverage, it's going to cost you $500 to get that windshield replaced. So it might be worth looking into how much a $0 glass endorsement would cost. Normally it's, I think through most of the companies I work with, it's like $20 a year or less. So for me, living in Michigan, where so many of our asphalt roads are now, they put that gravel down. I mean, I can't tell you how many times this summer we did glass claims just from the little part between north of town and Lawton on M40. So again, like I said, this is a slow time for most insurance agents. So, and it's kind of a slow time for parents too, or people too, because your kids are home. We're all having days off here coming up for the holidays. A lot of people take vacation or PTO around this time of year. So I'm not saying dedicate a whole day, but set aside an hour. Most of the time it won't even take that long. And schedule a time where you can either come in, meet with your agent, talk over the phone, via email if you want to, but at least have those discussions, because as an agent, like I said, is part of my job to help make sure you can afford your premium and help you afford the deductibles when something happens. So that's kind of the reason why I want to do this video, and kind of the timing of this video. Like I said, we're all trying to save a buck nowadays. We all know how hard it is to pay for anything. And it's important to make sure that not only you know what you're paying for, but when something happens, you can also afford it too. So I know that's not the bright and jovial way to leave this conversation, but that's all I have for you this week. Everyone have a great week. I will see you next week, even though it is Christmas week. I believe so. No, I will not. This will probably be might be the last one of the year. Let me check. All right, well, there'll probably be one more, but since we will not be meeting before Christmas time, I always give my annual spiel. Christmas isn't about what's under the tree, it's about who's around the table. So take time to make sure that you're taking the time to catch up with your family, enjoy your family, and love your family, because we never know what 2025 may bring. So like I said, focus on who's around the table, not what's under the tree. And I will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas.